So today we're going to be redrafting the worst draft class of all time. The literal worst draft class to ever be a thing. The 2000 NBA draft. This draft class included all-stars like Michael Redd, Jamal McGlure, and I think Kenyon Martin might have been an all-star team. And yes, I did in fact say Jamal McGlure. But today we're going to be redrafting it. And we're redrafting it as part of Hoopsmas. Lads, between now and Christmas, we are going to be redrafting every single draft class from 2000 onwards. Lads, we're going for 10k. We can get to like 6.8k by the end of the day. It's insane. We're going for 10k by Christmas, and by doing that, we're uploading 10 videos a day as part of our Hoopsmas right now. But anyway, yeah, let's get on to it. So, with the number 1 pick in the horrendous, and I mean absolutely horrendous draft thing that was the 2000 NBA draft, we are selecting a multiple-time Sixth Man of the Year, Jamal Crawford. Jamal Crawford is somebody that he played for Brooklyn in 2020, but he's a 3-time Sixth Man of the Year. He averaged 14 points per game in his career. And look, we remember who Jamal Crawford is. He had a couple of years where, as a starter, he was a near 20-point a game scorer. He's one of the greatest six men to ever play the sport of basketball. As you can see, 18.6 points pretty much off the bench for the Clippers in 30-14, 16.5 off the bench. He is an iconic player. And surprisingly enough, the man goes first in a redraft. Yeah. I mean that, that is not that is a complete fact. He goes first in a redraft. This is not good. This is really, really not good. Obviously, to the New Jersey Nets. With the second pick, Kenyon Martin went number 1, but Stromall Swift went number 2. And in a redraft, number 2, the Vancouver Grizzlies select Michael Redd. You guys might not remember Michael Redd, but Michael Redd was a hooper. Michael Redd was an all-star in 2004. He's somebody who, for his career, averaged 19 points per game. He just got old quick. He was part of the Redeem team. He won an Olympic gold with what it might be one of the greatest teams of all time. And his season high is 26.7 points per game. But you can see here, 26.7, 22.7, 21.2. And then from that season onwards, after the Redeem team year, 11.9, 4.4, 8.2, and then, yeah. The guy barely played basketball again after that season. He really fizzled out quick, but he's the only one who was a legitimate good all-star at his peak. He was the only one that was a number 1 option on a decent-ish team on his peak. So Michael Redd, you are in here as the number 2 pick. Yeah. He was a second rounder. He's not even in this picture. He's not even in this picture. I'm trying to even name who I know in this picture. Who is this guy? That's Stromall Swift. That's Chris Mim. We got Prisbilla in there. 2K13 rebounding go. No idea. We got Marcus Fizer here. We got Q Rich. We got Darius Miles. We got Kenyon Martin. I haven't a clue who you are. We got Mike Miller there, I guess. We got Crawford and I don't know. I don't know who else there is in this class. But with the number 3 pick in the 2000 NBA draft, who had the number 3 pick? The Los Angeles Clippers select the actual number 1 overall pick, Kenyon Martin. Kenyon Martin's a guy that I really kind of liked as an NBA player. He wasn't spectacular, but Kenyon Martin, he was the type of guy that was one-time All-Star. He was all-rookie first team, obviously. And he did a bit of everything. His career high is 16.7 points per game with New Jersey. He was a big player for a New Jersey team who went back-to-back finals. And he was good. I liked him in Denver. He did kind of fizzle out again after about that 08-09 year. He very much peaked in New Jersey. And he was pretty good in Denver. And then from then on, he was playing a year with the Clippers. He played with the Knicks for a couple of years, played with Milwaukee, and he really was poor. But I still think in a redraft, he would go number 3. And then this is a guy that I thought about picking him higher. And it was Hedo Turkoglu. Hedo Turkoglu at the number 4 pick to the Chicago Bulls. I thought Hedo Turkoglu at his peak was one of the better role players. I thought in that first stint in Orlando, he was brilliant, where he played those 6 seasons there. I do also have to say, I did not rate, I didn't think he was great after that. And once he went to Toronto when they traded him there, he went to Phoenix. He went back to Orlando when he was never the same. He was never the same. If you want to look at Hedo Turkoglu's stats, he was not great at Sacramento, but once he went to Orlando, 14, 14.9, 13.3, 19.5 on a team that made a conference finals per game, or it was a conference semifinals. And then 16.8 on a team points per game on a team who made the finals. Like, I think you could maybe argue him being higher. He won a most improved player. And I do really think Hedo Turkoglu was a super NBA player. And as you can see, he averaged nearly 20 a game for a season. Was a flat-out scorer. With the number 5 pick, the Orlando Magic select the exact same player who they did select in the draft, Mike Miller. Mike Miller was a shooter. He was an absolute sniper. Like, if you guys don't remember, like, one of his most iconic plays was in the 2013 NBA Finals, where they made a huge comeback in Game 6. Was it Game 6 where he shot where his shoe fell off and he hit a 3? Like, Mike Miller he was great. Played for a lot of different teams. I didn't realize he played for the Cavs with LeBron for a year. He played with the Timberwolves. He played with the Wizards for a year. He played with Orlando. He played with Memphis. Then he was a bit of a journeyman. Then he went and played with Miami, where he won 2 rings. At his peak, he was an 18.5 point per game scorer. He was the Rookie of the Year in this class. As well as that, that was him at his peak. He was also, by the end of he was a 6 point per game scorer when he won a ring. He averaged 4.8 the next year. But we have to take into account that the guy hit some huge shots. I think in NBA Finals, if I'm not mistaken, was it game... What was the game where he made a bunch? Was it 20... In Game 5, he made 7 3-pointers off the bench to ice a Finals. Like, that is so impressive. And again, he was a guy who could really shoot the ball. Unfortunately, waiving him by the amnesty clause did not help Miami for the next season. But yeah, he still goes number 5, exactly where he went in the actual draft, to the Orlando Magic. And to be fair, like, the 2, 3, and 4 picks in this draft were Stromos, with Darius Miles, and Marcus Fizer. So there's not too many great players. And number 6 was Damar Johnson from the Atlanta Hawks. And in a redraft, the number 6 pick goes to somebody who was relatively hyped, in fairness, coming into when he was coming into the NBA, especially in his early years. It's Quentin Richardson. I thought Quentin Richardson had some good years when he was in the NBA. He had some real bad years too. But he's somebody that was a Clipper for a few years, was really hyped, him and Darius Miles, when they were with the Clippers. But he had a really, really good year with the Clippers, and I thought he had a really good year with Phoenix as well, when Phoenix were the best team in the regular season, averaging 15. He decided to go to for lack of a better word, the shit show that was the mid-2000s New York Knicks. And like, his career went from there. His career was done. He never really did much for a good team for the rest of his career. He had a promising start to his career, and yeah, he really was not great. And again, it shows how bad this draft class is when I would take Quentin Richardson 6th. I repeat, that is how bad this is. I would take that man 6th in a redraft. Because 7th, in the real draft, it went to Chris Mim, and it's Mo Peterson. Mo Peterson goes in 7th. And yes, this is the same Mo Peterson that was out of the league within 10 years. He still goes top 10 in a redraft. This is the worst draft ever. He was good in Toronto, I guess, when Toronto were terrible. Played 3 years for the Hornets, and he played a year for the Thunder. But he had a 16.8 points per game year in 05-06. That does not count. That was the Mike James year. If you guys don't know what the Mike James year is, Toronto sucked so badly that Mike James averaged 20 points per game. That does not count. They were letting people chuck. He did it on, in fairness, he shot decent percent from 3. He did it on 43% shooting, though. He was never brilliant. But you know what? That one mediocre season where he was able to be a shot chucker is good enough to get him 7th place on this awful, awful, awful draft. 8th in the actual draft was Jamal Crawford, who we have going number 1 in a redraft. And then 8th is Desmond Mason. Some of you guys probably don't even know who Desmond Mason is. But Desmond Mason, I mean, he played till 2009. He played 9 seasons in the NBA. 9. But the reason why is because Desmond Mason has a 17.2 points per game season. Did Milwaukee suck? Yep. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how bad they sucked. He scored double digits in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons at 9.7. He rounded up the double digits in an 8th. Other than when he went to OKC and his rookie year, he averaged double digits every other year. I couldn't shoot. He was a good dunker, I guess. He won a dunk contest. I think maybe just the fact that he could dunk the ball puts him top 8 in this class. At number 9, we've got one of the very few All-Stars, Jamal McGlure. Jamal McGlure's All-Star year is still hilarious to me. It must have been the worst Eastern Conference All-Stars ever. So Jamal McGlure, for his career, did nothing. Except somehow make the 2004 NBA All-Star team. Lads, he averaged 13 and 10 and he made the All-Star team. How bad was that Eastern Conference? For a bad New Orleans team who lost in the first round of the playoffs to a Miami Heat team led by a rookie. He started for Milwaukee. He averaged double digits twice in his career. He averaged double digit rebounds once in his career. And after 2006, he never averaged over 7 points or 7 rebounds a game. He basically played 6 mediocre years in the league, somehow fluked an All-Star, and for that reason, he's going in here at number 9. And at number 10, we have got the man who is basically here because Jay-Z wrote a freaking diss track about him. Who the F is overrated? If anything, they underpaid him. The last words of Jay-Z about Deshaun Stevenson, talking about LeBron. He's best known for his beef with LeBron, but he did have a couple of seasons averaging double digits, and he won a championship, I guess, as a somewhat starter for the Dallas Mavericks through the regular season. So we got him at 10. And I'm going to be redrafting most of these drafts for the lottery. Like, I genuinely couldn't. Like, I did not want to start going into detail and, like, being like, oh, do we put Speedy Claxton in here? Like, well, Speedy Claxton, he had a year where he averaged 13 for a tanking team. Trying to find random players like, oh, Edward Najera. Did he do anything? Oh, he averaged 7 points per game. Is that enough for a 14th pick in this draft? Maybe. He averaged 7 points a game for a season. It's the worst draft of all time by so much. And they are my top 10. We're going to be redrafting the lotteries in every other class. But, no, for this one, it's got to just be the top 10.